Welcome, basketball fans, to 2K Sports. I'm Damon Bruce. Monday Hoops coming up. It's going to be Brandon Knight and the Detroit Pistons up against Blake Griffin and the Los Angeles Clippers. And now we send you out to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. I'll catch up with you again at halftime.
Welcome, sports fans. Thanks for joining us. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. And it's time for NBA basketball on 2K Sports. A quick check of our starting lineups. State Farm shows who will hit the floor first. First for the Pistons, Calderon is out there with Brandon Knight. And playing at center, the 6'11" big man out of Georgetown. Versatile scorer, terrific passer, Greg Monroe. Then it's Kyle Singler, and it's Maxeel in at the 4 slot. And for the Clippers, it's Chris Paul and Chauncey Billups at the 1 and the 2. And inside at center, a long 6'11", the skyscraping big man out of Texas A&M, DeAndre Jordan. And it's Caron Butler, and it's Griffin in a power forward position.
The Clippers had a number of guards at the beginning of the season, and a lot of those guys were point guards, and eventually they found the best rotation for those guards.
Back to the Clippers, sometimes they had to go a little bit small, running 2 guards, in fact 2 point guards, but Steve worked out overall for him.
And I think the reason it works, Kevin, is that those guards are just despite their lack of height, they were very smart and very strong. When you look at Chris Paul, Eric Bledsoe as well, those guys are able to guard players taller than them.
Look out! Call it hang time and bang time.
Unbelievable.
You gotta just shake your head on that one.
And the highlight reel replay, brought to you by Sprite. Good stuff. So it's Detroit now. Right with it. Singler left side, fires from deep, and that one's good.
That's a defensive let-up right there. I mean, they've got to close down on him quicker when he's in three-point range.
Let's find out now what head coach Vinny Del Negro had to say to Doris Burke. Doris?
We discussed their game plan defensively, and he mentioned that controlling Greg Monroe will be crucial. He said Monroe is a guy who can score inside, rebounds well, and his passing really sets him apart. Their offense runs best when it goes through his hands, so pressuring him and staying vigilant is essential for us. Guys, can they slow him down?
And thank you for that, Doris. He passes tonight, Calderon, and it's good.
That's how you exploit that defense. Take the ball right to the basket. Jose Calderon, a great playmaker and shooter, clutch free throw shooter. You know, injuries have been an issue for him over the last few years, maybe limiting his mobility, but he is getting healthier now and playing awfully well.
Billups kicks to Jordan. 6 to shoot. Rebound, Detroit. And we're about a minute and a half into the first quarter. Here's Knight. No good. Nice defense from Billups.
And, you know, when you look at Jose Calderon, I think one of the keys for him being more productive last season was that he was healthy. I mean, that allowed him to be a little quicker, helped him stay in front of opposing guards, and we know that's been an issue in the past, but being healthy helped resolve some of that.
And defensively, remember, you got to fight through screens to avoid giving up open looks.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And the defense has to go over the top of that screen. I think that's how they get it done. That's an old-fashioned finish there, guys. Going to the finger roll to get the easy two.
Monroe with a screen on Billups. Singler against Butler. Monroe sets a screen for Singler. An easy layup after coming off the pick.
Now you look at Vinny Del Negro, spent some time in the Phoenix Suns front office as a scout before moving on to the coaching ranks when he landed that first job with the Chicago Bulls.
Right side, Jordan kicks it to Griffin. Throws up the alley-oop. Tries to save it. Out of bounds. Detroit takes possession. Now the Pistons with it. They've gone on a 10-2 run, not allowing much. And Steve, you go back to Vinny Del Negro, a scout for the Suns prior to coaching. He was also in broadcasting.
Yeah, he's been around the game forever. A lifer. His father was a coach. It's in his blood. He actually grew up just outside of Springfield, Massachusetts, the home of the Hall of Fame. So Vinny, I guess, is just meant to be in basketball.
And here's Calderon. And first quarter, we're about 3.5 minutes in. Singler with a screen on Paul. Shot clock at 5. Calderon dishes to Singler. Fires it up. The shot's good on the assist by Calderon. Singler's got 5 now.
Well, the staple for Lawrence Frank has been the defensive philosophy that he's held over the years. And, of course, he was Doc Rivers' main assistant in Boston 2 seasons ago. And he brought that Celtic-style defense with him to Detroit, forcing everything baseline into help. And a really poor job boxing out there, guys. A momentary lapse in concentration, I think.
Ball's knocked loose. Paul kicks to Griffin. Rebound by the Pistons. Thinking about that, Steve, I remember a Frank quote from last year where he called Detroit a no-middle, no-paint team. Clark, certainly coincides with what Steve just said and what I'm sure you want to talk about.
Well, I think it goes with the whole mentality of the franchise, Steve. For so long, they've been the pinnacle of team defense, and it's nice to see them looking to get back to that under Frank.
A platoon swap here for the Clippers. And a different look here for the Pistons. Drummond's checked in for Monroe. Urebko comes in for Jason Maxiell. Rodney Stuckey's checked in for Brandon Knight. And it's Bynum in for Jose Calderon. Crawford against Stuckey. High arcing shot. That is good. We've got 1:08 left here in the first quarter.
Well, Rodney Stuckey is a guy who's steadily improved since entering the league. And last year, the Pistons reward him with a pretty big contract. A guy who can play either guard spot. And I think he's best suited as a scorer.
Crawford is guarded by Stuckey. 4 on the shot clock. With 1 on the clock. Good. Crawford's got his first bucket of the night. Pistons leading by 3. Bynum the pass to Stuckey. Stuckey gets a screen from Drummond. Off the pick. Barnes grabs the miss.
Couldn't convert, but nice little two-man game there.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see them go back to that the next trip.
Here's Odom. Now the pass to Barnes. Outside Odom. Another one falls for the Clippers.
Looked like the defense kind of backed off and then he took advantage.
Here's Urebko. And good coming on the assist by Rodney Stuckey. Urebko's got his first points in this one. There's Crawford with the three.
Wow!
Some great action here early as we end the first quarter. Clark in the top. We'll be back shortly live from Staples Center in downtown Los Angeles. Neither team able to build much of a lead up to this point as we start the second quarter. And let's quickly break down the game we've seen from the Clippers, guys.
Big boost from their bench there, guys, in that first quarter. They did a nice job coming in and really giving this team a lift.
Yeah, it's a nice attribute to have. Firepower coming off the pine early. That's good stuff.
Okay, well, let's check in with Doris Burke reporting from our sideline in this game. Doris, take it away.
Well, guys, we've seen increasing pushback from the NBA owners regarding their star players participating in the Olympics. Hard to blame them when you think of the dollars they have invested in these guys. And you look at a player like Blake Griffin, who suffered a torn meniscus training with the U.S. men's basketball team. He's made his way back to the court, but certainly a question of whether there'll be any lingering effects. Kevin, something to think about.
It is indeed. Thank you, Doris.
You know, Caron Butler has reinvented himself here in the latter stages of his NBA career, Kevin. He used to be a slasher, a guy who would get to the rim. Now he's more of a spot-up shooter, but he's still a player who makes a major impact on the game.
Yeah, he does a good job moving without the ball and causing problems for bigs that are trying to guard him. The thing with Caron is that even though he isn't as tall as some of the post players he faces, he's just as strong and uses his quickness to an advantage.
So, for the Clippers, Ronny Turioff, he's checked in for DeAndre Jordan. Barnes comes in for Lamar Odom. And Chauncey Billups has subbed in for Jamal Crawford. Detroit also making some changes. Kyle Singler, he's checked in for Urebka. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Brandon Knight. Bynum, the Clippers grab the miss. Second shot opportunity, and the shot is good from Stuckey. Stuckey's got his second bucket.
They continue to barrel their way inside, and when's the defense going to adjust?
Well, I'm asking the same question myself, partner. I mean, that's 8 points out of their last 10 coming inside.
Well, the shot was there for him, and he had to take it. I don't care if he didn't convert it. He's got to take that every time.
The Clippers seemed to be a walking highlight reel last season. They were able to take full advantage of teams from the East when they met up.
Turioff dishes to Bledsoe. Puts it up, and Turioff slams it in.
You know, that kind of play will get you some brownie points with your coach, no doubt.
And with your fans, too, Clark, got a big dunk like that.
And even with the announcers.
Oh, yeah!
We all love it.
Yeah, the Clippers finished with an 11-7 record against the East. Wins they needed, Steve, to jockey for playoff position.
You know, even before Chris Paul arrived, Kevin, the Clippers seemed to play against the East pretty well. So I think those numbers should only improve as the Clippers mature as a team and continue to add talent to their roster.
Rebound, Detroit. Max Eel's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. From 11 feet away, Bledsoe with the rebound. Bledsoe's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. He dishes it to Butler. The feed to Barnes. Some nice ball movement by the Clippers. Billups kicks to Turioff. It's taken away by Stuckey. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. And stolen by Billups. Here's Butler.
That's turning good defense into quick offense, Clark.
And that's the way to operate. Get up the court quickly. Don't waste any time. Whenever you have a chance to go fast. Caron Butler, they call him Tough Juice, an important part of this Clippers team. It really hurt him when he broke his hand in that first game of the playoffs last season.
Terrific play right there. Great strength to finish through the hit.
That's how you do it, the bump and the bucket.
A different look here for Detroit. Griffin comes in for Ronny Turioff. And it's Crawford in for Chauncey Billups. And the broken hand of Butler, a result of his hand getting caught, I think, Steve, on Rudy Gay's jersey, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Kevin. And he played throughout the playoffs, the remainder of the playoff run for the Clippers, just showing, how physically tough Caron Butler is. But he's a player you love to have on your team. He can make a shot. He's a good leader, great team. And I think a major part of this club.
Bynum kicks to Singler. Monroe. Griffin on him. Shoots a fader. Rejected by Griffin. Clippers have gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%. Griffin a screen on Bynum. He kicks to Barnes. Dishes it to Butler. Clock at 6. Crawford outside. Elbow shot is on the way. And that one's good. Crawford's got his third bucket of the night.
Now you talk about Pistons head coach Lawrence Frank. He has a reputation for hard work. Very meticulous. He's not a guy who had a big pedigree in his basketball career to lean on. So he really made his way with hard work and determination.
Now let's send it to Doris from the sideline.
Gentlemen, the acquisition of Chris Paul by the Clippers, greeted famously by Blake Griffin, who joyfully said to teammate DeAndre Jordan, "Lob City," after hearing the news. That name took on a life of its own, becoming Los Angeles in time. But the team started to back away from it, making clear that highlights weren't the emphasis. It was winning. But maybe the more meaningful reaction from Griffin was this: "The only thing I'm going to promise is that when you hear the Clippers, it's not going to be a joke anymore. I can guarantee you that." Kevin, love it.
They've got probably the best team in franchise history. We'll see where they go next. And Lawrence Frank, as you mentioned, Steve, not a guy who played the game at a high level. Do you think that's a disadvantage for him?
Well, it just depends. I mean, if you can prove to your players that you're worthy of being their coach, then they don't care if you played or not. And I think that's the case with Lawrence Frank. I mean, the players see how hard he works. They see his passion for the game. They see how smart he is. So there may be a week or two early on where they're kind of sizing him up. But in the end, once they figure out what he's all about, I think there's no problem there.
Paul kicks to Jordan. Knocks it loose. And now the Pistons fast break. A finish.
You know what? There he goes again. I mean, it's not a stretch at all to call him one of the NBA's elite premier dunkers. He's actually platinum.
You're right. You know, Steve, when he gets in his mind to attack the rim, it's always something to see.
Yeah, it's exactly what we've come to expect from him, because he does it continually on a night-in, night-out basis.
And that last replay, courtesy of Sprite. The shot by Knight, no good.
How often have we seen him draped all over a shooter like that, guys?
More than a few times, Clark. And he has the ability to impact the game with his defense. There's no question about that.
That one goes. Coming. Pistons trailed by 3.
Slowing it down here, smart. Play for the last shot of the quarter.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, dribble it down to 6 seconds or so and then go. That way you got a chance for a second shot if you miss.
They get it back. And Maxiel kicks to Calderon. Can't nail the jump.
That's the shot he was looking for. I'm surprised he didn't get it to fall.
And a tight game here as we end the first half. Clippers lead by 3. And coming.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Tipping off the halftime show, I'm Damon Bruce, and it's a close one underway in Los Angeles. A strong first half for the Clippers. Defensively, some great shot blocking. They're giving them something to think about when they head inside. Chris Paul, the leading scorer. His shooting percentage is right at the 60 mark. He is feeling it tonight. And battling nonstop, the Detroit Pistons. They're racking up the assists, great passing in the early going. A nice start for Brandon Knight. He's got 5 points, and he's made some key plays in the assist department, too. And now back to the game in Los Angeles. Glad to have you with us.
And as we resume, a beautiful nighttime view of Los Angeles, and in blue there, our venue, the Staples Center. Look at Chris Paul. What a contribution.
Well, we know he can score, so it's not really a huge shock to see him put up these kind of big numbers.
And I would think that he most likely will continue to carry on this kind of play into the fourth.
The dish to Monroe. And that one's good. Monroe's got his team on the board first here in the second half for the Pistons.
You know, last year the Pistons were a team that really lacked a go-to scorer. Just never really knew where their offense was going to come from game to game. And I think that had an effect on how they finished in the standings, no doubt.
I agree. Here's Griffin. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. 8 points for Blake Griffin. Pistons trailed by 3. Knight passes to Calderon. Over Jordan. He hits it from 9. And one place that not having a reliable score hurt them was against the West. Steve, they couldn't match the offense of a lot of the teams they faced.
Yeah, that's why they went 5-13 in games against Western Conference teams last year. But they need talent. They need more scoring offensively. So difficult to beat really talented teams just relying on your defense. They've got to get more firepower.
First minute and a half of basketball here in the third quarter. Monroe dishes to Maxiel. It's a look. Kept alive. They shoot again. Jordan with the block. Now here's Paul. He's got 8. And Griffin with the score. The assist by Paul. And it's a 5-point Clipper lead.
Well, none of the defenders were quick enough to step out and get a hand in his face on that jump shot. Big mistake there. And, you know, guys, Caron Butler was a solid addition to the Clippers last year. He signed a 3-year deal, which was surprising given that he was coming off major knee surgery. But he gave the Clippers the outside shooting small forward that they needed.
Into the third we go. 2 minutes in now. Calderon against Paul. Knight sets the pick for Calderon. In low to Monroe. Shot is off. And it's the Clippers taking it the other way. And you mentioned Butler's outside shooting, Steve. Important for the Clippers to be able to spread the floor with Paul and Blake Griffin.
Yeah, Butler actually spaces the defense out and keeps them honest. Paul is their pick-and-roll operator, and obviously Griffin gets it done in the paint.
Calderon with it. Chris Paul covering over Jordan. And Jordan sends it back. A touch over 2.5 minutes of basketball played here in the third quarter. Griffin kicks to Jordan. Outside Phillips. Takes a 3. Gets it to go. Phillips has got 5 points now this quarter.
Another bucket there, trying to extend this lead, guys.
I like what they're doing. I mean, putting together a run here, building that lead. They could get to the finish line comfortably.
To Monroe. Singler outside. And good on the basket. Book it. Singler's got 7 points in the game.
Brought back to finger roll. That's a nice finesse move to pull off with the defense all over him.
A different look here for Detroit. Drummond's checked in for Monroe. Nerebko comes in for Jason Maxiel. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Kyle Singler. Griffin passes to Paul. And the basket good. He's got 10.
You know, they're just getting hammered inside and really need to find a way to be tougher down there. They got to be physical. They got to man up in there.
I agree. When you look at the points they're giving up, most of them seem to be coming inside the paint.
Greg Monroe. He's checked in for Jose Calderon.
Well, with the Clippers, the nickname Lob City caught on pretty quickly, and it was based on 3 guys, Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. And it was a great nickname, well justified, because there were so many alley-oop passes from Paul to those 2 big men, and it made for highly entertaining basketball.
Butler off a pick from Jordan. Throws it up high. Oh, a nice defensive play to disrupt the alley-oop. Here's Stuckey. Blake Griffin pulls it in. Going back to the Clippers, you know, you talk about guys who are meant to connect on alley-oops, and it's hard to think of, Clark, at least in my mind, any tandem better than Paul and Griffin.
DeAndre Jordan as well, and even some of the other guards got into the act too, so people expected big things from the Clippers in terms of highlights last year, and they didn't disappoint. They delivered in a big way.
Knight kicks to Drummond. Pass to Stuckey. Over Jordan. And there's Stuckey. That's good on the assist by Drummond. 8 points in the game for Stuckey.
They are in attack mode right now. That's 10 straight points, guys, all coming inside the paint.
And Steve, if I'm them, I'd keep going right to the heart of that defense like they have been until they do something about it. If they don't offer resistance, take everything you can get in there.
I like the way they got the ball inside there.
Ball against Knight. Can't get it to go. Nice D from Griffin.
They have a nice lead here and have really controlled the glass for the majority of the game. Kudos to them for their strong effort on the backboard.
Yeah, and they're sending a message too, Clark. They're really coming out and playing a very physical game here.
Passes it to Monroe. Feeds it to Knight. The 11-footer, and that one's good. Knight's got 7 points in the game.
Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down.
The Clippers have gone 2 for 3 at the foul line in this game.
And that just has to improve, guys. I mean, the free throw shooting is something that has to get better. You're immediately putting yourself at a disadvantage when you shoot that poorly from the line.
Catching up on the changes for the Clippers. Lamar Odom, he's checked in for Griffin. Barnes comes in for Caron Butler. And it's Crawford in for Chauncey Billups. Drummond sets the screen for Calderon. Right at the free throw line. Cannot hit.
And I think the work on the boards has been a big key for their success in this game, guys.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's been total control on the board for them.
The Clippers have shot 80% from the line tonight, going 4 of 5 so far.
And, you know, whenever they get into a stretch where it looked like maybe they would turn it around at the line, they would immediately take a step back.
And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Clippers ahead. They lead by 13. And we'll have the start of the fourth quarter for you as soon as we get back from this short break. Clippers leading by 13. He feeds it to Crawford. The leaner falls for him. That was a difficult shot. Crawford's got the first basket as we get going in the fourth for the Clippers. Calderon dishes to Monroe. Over Griffin. Nice D from Griffin.
Big lead on the boards usually equals a big lead in the game. This team is on cruise control.
Well, the rebounding differential is double digits already, so this is a team that just looks bigger and tougher than the opponent.
Here's Crawford. Tips it back in. 12 points for Blake Griffin.
And what I like watching, Kevin, with this guy is his ability to just chase down rebounds. I mean, he plays so hard, hustles from the opening tip till the final buzzer, and it really shows with his work on the offensive glass.
And Steve, some of the best highlights you're ever going to see are going to come from this guy. Every time he steps on the court, there's a chance he'll perform the dunk of the season.
Right side, Griffin. Kicks to Crawford. Crawford, right side. 6 on the shot clock. Can't get it to go.
Usually, if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
The pass to Singler. Launches a 3. It's hauled in by Jamal Crawford. Crawford's got his third rebound tonight. Paul passes to Crawford. Good, and Paul gets the assist. Paul's got his 4th assist with that last one here tonight.
Great move to get to the bucket and lay that one in. He's got the softest touch around the basket. Impressive.
For the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan's checked in for Odom. Butler comes in for Matt Barnes. And Chauncey Billups has subbed in for Jamal Crawford. Drummond's checked in for Detroit. Brandon Knight comes in for Rodney Stuckey. Calderon against Paul. Now here's Calderon. He's covered closely. Knight kicks to Calderon over Paul. And again, it's the Pistons missing. Clippers leading by 19. He passes it to Butler. Here's the 3. And a great assist by Paul as that one goes in. Paul's got his 5th assist in this one. Calderon dishes to Singler. Shot to end this cold run. It's hauled in by the Clippers. Butler's got 4 rebounds now tonight.
And they have a huge advantage on the boards.
Well, it's been one-sided so far, both on the rebounding side and the scoreboard.
And the dunk by Jordan.
Showing no mercy. They are getting after them at both ends of the floor.
Continuing to add to the lead as the minutes tick away.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
They got to find something, you're right. Calderon for three. That's good. The assist that time from Knight. Knight's got 3 assists tonight.
He's going to take that shot every time if he has that much room to get it off.
Ball outside. The leader. Again, the Clippers.
Man, offensive execution has been the story here. Just playing beautiful basketball.
And guys, you can see it in their advantage in field goal percentage. I mean, you get high quality shots, you're usually going to shoot well. They're playing outstanding basketball.
Butler against Calderon. But they'll get another chance.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
Griffin passes to Paul. Lobs it up there. It's hauled in by Jose Calderon.
So hard not to go for it when you see that chance at the alley-oop.
Bet he wishes he hadn't, though.
Well, Brandon Knight is an athletic combo guard. Spent 1 year at Kentucky, where he took the Wildcats to a Final Four. And for a Detroit team that's already stacked with combo guards, it's a questionable fit. But he's got a bright future in this league. It's just a matter of finding the right situation.
Greg Monroe, he's checked in for Detroit. We've got 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. Now Paul. Phillips with the ball, and it's Knight picking him up. And Griffin slams it in.
Now you can put this one in the W column. I mean, this is locked up now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they closed this game out exactly like they needed to.
A different look for the Clippers. Turioff comes in for Blake Griffin. Eric Bledsoe is subbed in for Chris Paul. Detroit also making some changes. Drummond comes in for Greg Monroe. And it's Bynum in for Brandon Knight. Now here's Bynum. Defense right on him. Here's Calderon, and he gets it to go from the high post. Calderon's got 5 points in the quarter. And Brandon Knight can still definitely score, but still developing and proving himself as a playmaker.
Yeah, he really is a guy that takes his craft seriously. As a matter of fact, coming out of high school and even at Kentucky, one of the things that was challenging for his coaches was to help him not strive for such perfection that it was a hindrance. So he's going to continue to work and develop, and he just has to make sure that he's not too hard on himself going forward, because he can be, I think, an excellent guard as a defender and scorer and playmaker.
Phillips with the ball. Now Bynum defending. He dishes it to Jordan. The feed to Butler. Clippers moving the ball around. Here's Bledsoe. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
You know, the Pistons had a look at the playoffs for a brief moment last year, Kevin, but couldn't quite make the sustained push.
Yep.
Their shortcoming made it 3 straight seasons now without postseason play.
Adding on to what you were saying, Clark, about the Pistons, the team has been around in one form or another for 70 years now. They've only missed the playoffs 24 times. That's pretty consistent.
Yeah, they brought home 3 titles since they moved from Fort Wayne to Detroit. Of course, back-to-back titles with Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boys. And then more recently, that group with Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton. So an organization that's rich with tradition.
Shot denied. Calderon kicks to Drummond. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Pistons will retain possession. And the Pistons making a change here. Urebko's checked in. "20 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Here's Bynum. Great look, but off the mark.
Boy, that's 2 easy points you've just given away.
Here's Bledsoe. So So the Clippers winning this one easily. And this one was such a lopsided victory.
They never let up. They were full throttle from the start.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. And now we present the Jordan Player of the Game, Blake Griffin.